Assalamu alaikum. We would like to begin our talk on the topic of patience and justice in Islam, and what is the concept of patience in Islam, and how do Sufis view it?
When people say that Sufis are the people of patience, I do not agree with them. I never say that they are the people of the patience. They are not the people of the patience. These are the pleased souls who are already in agreement with that. So they do not bear any sort of burden on them. Right? You have a different opinion, right? It's not about dislikes between you and me. It's not about dislikes between your culture and my culture, or your understanding or my understanding, or your background or my background. Because I do not see you as an individual. I see you as the creation of my Lord. And when my Lord has created you, same as He has given me certain role to play in this society, He has also given you a certain role to play in society. And what you are saying to me is not in opposition to my understandings or my beliefs, but it is a lesson for me. Right? So I seek the lesson from that. I do not go in that opposition. I am always patient, because for the outsiders it may look that the person is in patience, right? That he is bearing it as something which he does not like. So means that he, at a certain level in his conscious or in his heart, is someone who is unhappy with the situation, but he is controlling it. We are talking about the pleased souls, about nafs-e mutmainna, right? Pleased self. We are not talking about somebody who is under the influence of the commanding self, where the emotions and attitudes are playing with him. Right? We are talking about somebody who has achieved a higher conscious level, who see the things in harmony, who see the things in accordance with the will of the Creator. And it is the will of the Creator which has given you a certain thought. It is a message for me. I have to find the meaning behind it. I do not need to fight on that word. That you have written this word, for example, the name of your kind self is Siddiq, right? And the conflict may arise that if I write Siddiq with one D and not with two Ds, right? And there starts the conflict, right? And me being stubborn, insist that it is always with one D, and you, your kind self, says that no, it is with two Ds, right? So what would be the reaction of the Sufi in this case, for example, if we have this? Sufi will take it, oh, if it is with two Ds, there must be some meaning behind it, right? So it is not that I do not like you, or I do not like that stand. I would probe into it. Will go after the meaning, what this message brings to me. So there is no patience as such with the Sufis. It is always about the beloved. It is always about the will of the beloved. He himself or she herself is a lover, right? So every act and any act of the beloved, I am happy with that.
If we give a very crude example of justice, as Plato said, that if somebody hits you or slaps you on one cheek and you give the other cheek, that is not justice. That is not being just with your own self. So in such a context, how do average people and how do Sufis would react, keeping in view the concept of justice as well as of being patient, of showing that bardasht? If you could shed some light on that.
Justice is based on the certain laws, which are mostly in today's world, are man-made. And although there are many Islamic republics or the Christian republics or the Hindu republics, but what we see in reality is that there is no divine law as such which is being practiced, my dear. We are talking about the life. It is not a theoretical question as far as I have perceived it. So, the justice in Sufi perspective, it is that the divine laws which has been given to you, the laws of the nature, right? What they tell you how to react on a certain thing, right? And what those laws, in which form they work within you. Because Sufis, they take human being as a microcosm and they see universe as a macrocosm. So similar to that, if when you have a state or a country and have an administration system to administer it, so the justice is basically for the administration, so that it can work properly. The Sufi always look within and see that this human kingdom in which he lives or which is himself, right? Whether it is in proper administration or not. Is it my fear or greed which is reacting to it? Are these lower qualities, they have overtaken me and they are putting some veil on my consciousness to really understand what is in before me? Sufis say that you think by looking you can see, right? Those people who are under the influence of the commanding self, for them haste is speed, right? As a Sufi, let's say, being very practical, that if we are going on the roads of Pakistan and somebody comes and hits me, right? It is not him hitting me, right? It is his insaneness, his madness, his lack of knowledge about the traffic rules which is hitting me, right? So what Sufi will do is that he would be more cautious and attentive to get rid of all this madness of the others, which will not only hurt him, which will also hurt me. So we will not probably go in arguments with many people, because for us that would be a certain madness and we will try to avoid the conflict. So with the Sufis there is mostly no conflict resolution sort of thing. They never go into conflicts. They avoid that. As they say that the real master of the Kung Fu is the one who never fights. Right? So the real Sufis are those who are never in conflict. This is the mastery. Probably the things which I am saying to you seems very theoretical, right? But these are theoretical until and unless you walk or tread on this path. Now let's take the situation that in front of my eyes there is somebody who has slapped some other body, or the second person. I'm not the first person. I'm not being harmed with that act, right? I'm just an observer. So how would then a Sufi react to it? Then Sufi would react as the nature says. He will never stand with the oppressor. He will always stand with the oppressed one. And that is the justice. He will not preach the other person to offer his cheek, the second one. but he will stop the hand of the oppressor. That is the Sufi. First of all, he has been trained in such a fashion that this situation will never occur to him. And if in the society, because he also has a role to play in the society, if this is happening, he will stand with the oppressed, not with the oppressor.
So, how do Sufis differ in the concept of patience and justice compared to an average human being? Like, for example, average person like me or anyone else who is not as far ahead in the journey.
Being Muslim means being a good human being. And when you are initiated and when you say the fundamental statement of Shahada La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, there begins your journey. There begins your journey on the path to be the perfect human being. You will not be perfect in just one day. It is a continuous journey. What to talk about those people who have not taken that step, who are under the veils? What is the difference between a human and an animal? We are the social animals. With this mindset, how can we go anywhere? Social animals, right? Law of the jungle. And law of the jungle is might is right. Lion is always right. So, in a society where might is right, it is not the society of the human beings. It is not an Islamic society at all. Or it is not even any religious society. If you have gone in the deserts in Pakistan, you will see that the women, they are carrying the pots over their heads because they have to fetch the water from the distant places, right? So they put one pot and then they put the other pot and then they put the other pot, right? And they go in groups because these are the long journeys to fetch the water. It is not very easy. So when they come back, they have all those pots on their heads and still they are talking and still they are cracking jokes with them and still they are talking about their families and the family's issues, right? But that balance of those pots, it never gets disturbed. Nothing falls from there. This is the art. And in Punjabi what they say that Hath kar wale dil yaar wale. Hath, my hand is in work, right? Hath kar wale, dil yaar wale, and my heart is with the beloved. So this is the balance which Islam tells you. Sufis are telling Islam. It's not that they are coming up with their own philosophy.
Okay, this was wonderful, and I would just like to know what would be your advice for young people to reach a balanced and moderate position in life?
It's not talking about the average people. Everybody is on a certain station, right? So let's talk about people. Let's talk about youth, or let's talk about the beginners, right? My suggestion would be to take pen and paper and make your priority list. This should be the first step. You being a young man, right? Write down your priorities. What is your top priority? Whatever is on that priority list is actually the priority of your seek, your search, your actions, your deeds. You are pursuing that. If your priority is material, my dear, then get out of this assumption that you are searching for the God or you are searching for the reality. So first do this little exercise, right? And with all your sincerity. Nobody is watching you. It is not a test. Just take a pen and paper and then burn it, then just tear it, right? But with all your sincerity, when you will look at that list, what you will find would be probably where you stand, and it would be a mirror. So if there is a need, I'm not saying that on everyone's priority there is just only the material, right? On some priority list there might be fame, right? Or on some priority list there might be so many other things, right? So first make that priority list. Check out what you really are seeking with all your sincerity. And then see if it needs to be changed. Until and unless there is a need within you, right? There would be no seek, there would be no search, there would be no change, there would be no improvement at all. We are not talking about the modern economy where you establish the needs, which are not actually the needs, right? So what your need is, check that out. What your priority is, check that out. You are the judge, you are the master, right? You are the examiner. Examine yourself. And فَقَدْ أَرْفَ نَفْسَهُ فَقَدْ أَرْفَ رَبَّهُ. The one who knows himself knows his Lord. So start from knowing yourself. Don't be in this trap what others are telling you, that you are a good person. So I become under this assumption that I am a good person. Or if somebody is discouraging you that you are a bad person, right? Take a moment. Where you are going, right? Take a moment. Stop. Look where you are going. Just for the sake, because there are the herds of people which are moving in that way,